Stephanie, I'm listening to you and thinking that you might be a relationship coach.
That oh dear, that's a lot of stress. But I love when you think.
No, because after some time experiencing and having this kind of preparation, actually, and walking along the beach and cuisine and learning language and maybe even different languages, trying to cover several areas of possibilities, you never know what life will bring you, what kind of ideas when you have this experience, and even and with your approach of learning from mistakes and making best of it, it's a very good recipe. But I know and I feel that the community work and even your work, community itself plays significant role in setting abroad, and you understand that as we grow, we are more picky and finding trends, like it's a normal process, and settling with new environment. How do you envision with your experience building a new home and community in your expat destination? And are there particular strategies or aspects of your personality you plan to leverage? Because it's very important. And I know it as multi-immigrant to find, not only to find the place, but to find at least small social circle at the beginning for support and comfort, and actually to get the joy rather how you envision it.
Yeah, it's funny because when we went to the different cities in Greece and we had the idea in mind of, is this somewhere we would want to live? We would discover that one area was too big. It just felt too overwhelming. It felt too busy and city like that we were like, nope, that's not it. And then another area was very remote and beautiful, but it felt still like it wasn't a community to us. It was a place to pass through. And so that was like, okay, that was a downfall there, but I bet there was somewhere maybe on the outskirts where the community might have been, where people actually felt together, but we just didn't find it. So our vision is like, I'm big on change. As you could tell through my career, always embrace change. I love change. I love doing something and the challenge and growing and doing. But I've also learned to slow down and enjoy life along the way. My husband is an introvert and hates change. Change is a fear of his. He's been in the same industry his entire career. And that's amazing to me that he can do that. And he still loves it and embraces it. But at the same time, being an introvert, too many people, too large of groups overwhelm him. And I like the idea of a small little network of people. We don't have the meals where we have everybody come over. We have a couple of friends at a time come over and we'll share food with them. We like the smaller group settings. In that combination of the two of us and our interests, it's definitely the smaller towns that we are interested in, but being close enough to the larger town when we need those amenities, when we need the international airport and the hospital, those things. But we want to live on the outskirts of those areas where there's a smaller community where, having the home near town, maybe not in the mid center of it, but on the outskirts of the town, I envision being able to walk in and see neighbors, not the remote lifestyle my husband always dreamed about when we were first married was living in the middle of the woods where you saw nobody except when you had to go out to get something from the store. That was his dream life back then, but is not the dream anymore. That has changed. Then he wanted to live in the big city. When we moved to San Diego, he wanted to live downtown, right in the middle of it all. And I was like, nope, not happening. So we found that happy medium as we grew and changed and evolved into the people we are today. And learning that now we know what kind of lifestyle we want, a little bit slower paced, but we enjoy those intimate moments with good friends. And so that's the community we want to be finding and building into. So whether it is an established community or an expat growing community, either one of those would be open to us. I lean more towards the culture of the area. So wanting to be in a place that maybe isn't all expats because I want to embrace the culture of the existing communities. I want to go to those markets and enjoy their food and share in a meal together with at most 6 people, whether it's in someone's kitchen and everyone's cooking pasta together and throwing sauce around and drinking glasses of wine, or outside under the trees, under the stars, just enjoying good conversation and maybe a nice dessert. I don't know. So it's got to be some food, right?
But food historically actually united people. Like the big table, it's tradition in every culture. It's for unity, it's for family, it's for exchange of ideas, cultural specifics. It's what make us people.
Exactly. I need the connection because I have learned that, especially through the pandemic, as many of us did, but the loss of human connection became a big issue. And it highlighted those people who don't have that connection. And the answer was never going to be return to the office kind of thing. That's not the definition of connection. I went through depression and anxiety. And through that diagnosis, I was able to realize that I was in areas where I was in a room full of 300 people and I felt alone. I felt so lonely in my depression that it didn't matter that there were 300 people in the same ballroom as I was when we were in our dance competition days. And I still felt all alone. And that to me is the pinnacle definition of depression and anxiety of you're still alone, even though everybody's around you. You don't feel connected to them. So being in proximity to people is not the answer. To me, it's that real human connection. So these big cities where people are rushing past each other and don't even know each other's names, that's not what my vision of long-term living is. It's walking into the grocery store or the restaurant and knowing everybody's name and be like, hey, how are you? How are you? Oh, how's the family? Not just oh, what's the weather like or the sports on TV, but real connection to human people, knowing them and what motivates them, sharing a book, sharing a story, a moment on by the water or over food. To me, that's true connection. And that's what I'm looking for.
Absolutely agree with you. I'm looking in similar direction, speaking about connection, because it's actually what us people and what make us younger, I would say. We continue to grow. We have this vest for life. And obviously, it takes time to, even when you relocate from state to state, to find your circle. I have just one idea for you. If you might persuade, like couple, your current friends in your today's life to get with you and start together, two couples, it's already a circle which can work together on the first time helping each other and attracting different personalities because each of you is a different person as well. So yes, there's a lot of things and we can speak about it endlessly. And I'm just foreseeing that you will change some of your things on the list of preparation list for future expat life as life is going on. You still have, I believe it's still a couple of years. So I will invite you in a couple of years to check how you look at things at the time. But as we're wrapping up, for those people who inspired by your story, who considering similar change in life and who may wish to follow, learn about your ventures, what advice do you have for embracing change and pursuing fulfilling life? Being it expat life or life for the time being of changes, because it's a preparation. So what is your advice for somebody who now considering a reinvention or in the process of it?
I would say don't expect it to happen overnight because it's hard and it takes time. And a change, even if you're someone like me who likes change, it it's not immediate, and that's good. You have to go through the process, but do your research, find yourself along that journey. Because even when I changed careers, there was a reason for the change. It was always for me either the next achievement or accomplishment or the next challenge that I wanted to embrace and overcome. Or in some cases, it was because I saw a way that I could help the people who were in the roles I was in, the next move would help me make life better for them or the company or in general, the organization. But even in lifestyle changes, as we're aging and we're wanting to go into retirement and then leave corporate behind, a side hustle is not a bad thing because you still feel like you're doing something and contributing. That's not the answer for everybody. But in that process, in that journey, what I've found, especially now not being in the corporate world for a while, is that stop treating it like a corporate job. Stop doing trying to do the 8 to 5, have breakfast, open the laptop, sit there until noon, take break, have lunch, work again, and then close the laptop at 5. It's not how it works, and it's not how it should work. Find what works for you. If you need to take a break and get yourself reset mentally, I found in the middle of the day, I needed to go take a shower and just restart the day because things weren't going the way I needed them to. And I was stressed out and I'm realizing I don't have a boss looking over my shoulder telling me I'm supposed to be sitting there at that computer. I can step away. That's supposed to be the beauty of solopreneurship. And it's okay to do that. So if I take a break and then come back refreshed and revitalized, and if that's at 7 o'clock at night, that's okay. If that's not till tomorrow, that's okay. But I need to find myself in this journey. If I want to have this envisioned lifestyle, so I told myself, what would a perfect day, week, month look like? What would I have done in my life in retirement to say that was beautiful? And that's when I started realizing we don't go to the beach. Why don't we go to the beach? We live here, we have access to it. So, new rule, we're going to the beach. I decided I wanted to get something more creativity in my life. And so I went out and bought some painting supplies. And I'm not good at it yet, but I'm going to throw paint on a canvas and see what happens. And I didn't like it, so I'm painting all over it again. And that's okay because there's all kinds of things you could do, but I'm just using it as an outlet right now. And I realized I have to stop for myself. I'm an overachiever, and that's not a good thing. So I'm learning to say, you know what? That's not what I envisioned. I can start it over again. And so I'm going back to the canvas and I had textured paint all over it. I'm sanding it all off, which was actually a nice stress reliever, by the way. Sanding it all off and starting over because why not? No one said I had to throw it away, buy a blank new canvas and start over again. I'm reinventing the canvas and it might turn into something completely different because I'm doing that. And there are no boundaries and rules. I'm not selling it. I'm not putting it up, may never put it up on a wall, but it's my outlet to try something completely different out of my comfort zone. I have never been an artist, but it was something that just intrigued me. Let's try it and have an outlet to try something different that I know I don't know how to do well, because that opens up things in my soul, in my heart. It gives me some extra new stress sometimes, but it was okay to mess up. It was totally permission to myself to not be the best at something, to not overachieve at something, to fail forward, to learn. And why not? It was not a lot of money. Some people draw, some people write and never let their poetry see the light of day. But if it was joyful for you in the moment and you reached into your soul and found some new piece that you wanted to shine, whether it was just for yourself or for a loved one, do it. Go for it. One says there's rules. We have to break all these constructs of rules that we've put in place of what life has to look like, of what work has to look like, of where you live has to look like. There's nothing wrong with trying and exploring and being in the moment to see if that's where your heart lights up.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And the last question, which I believe part of your coaching training, for people who are considering midlife career change or pivot to the business, being in a situation like you or by their choice or by choice of the company, what's the transition, what the advice you would give for this kind of transition?
Whether it's going to a new career or trying entrepreneurship, it's again, it's a journey. And there's a lot of stress there that you can put on yourself. I have definitely had moments of questioning my decisions of what should I do. Family who sometimes support you and then say, are you going to get a job now? Going back to everybody has their own opinions and views on how the world should look and how everybody should live, but be true to yourself. In the journey of solopreneurship, what lights me up is coaching and helping other people. What does not light me up is sales and marketing, but I have to do that. um, Unfortunately, that's something as a solopreneur, you have to realize there's more to it than the thing that drove you to wanting to do it. And I'll go back to what so many people will tell you online, and a famous Simon Sinek quote is, know your why. Pick your why are you doing this? Money is not a good enough answer. That's not going to drive you and keep you motivated and stay on the path. So what is your why? Is it personal time freedom? Is it creativity? Is it supporting your family differently, being there for them at different times? What is your why for whatever it is you've chosen to do? And remind yourself of what that why is. At the beginning of this year, there's a trend that's going around. It has been for a while of, instead of a New Year's resolution, of choosing a word and having that as your goal for the year or your decision that's you're going to focus on that word. And mine is strong and intentional. And I put it on my phone so I would remember every time I look, because I look at this thing way too many times a day. And so I put it as my background on my phone. So every time I light up my phone, it says strong and intentional, because those are the two words. I couldn't pick just one. So everything I'm doing and changing this year, I'm doing it for a reason. That reason may look weird and strange to people outside of me, but I'm intentionally trying to fail at art. I'm trying to be strong. So I'm making sure that I'm both mentally and physically staying strong. So whether it's going for my walks in the morning, going for those walks on the beach on the weekend, mentally and physically strong is what I need to be for myself and for my business. And anybody who's trying to go through a career change, obviously in the US right now, the labor market is really bad. Everybody, so many layoffs, you hear about it constantly. So many people have reached out to me looking for help to find a job. It's not a good place to be in right now in the job market. There's certain industries doing fine, but a good majority of them are not. And so it's scary, but it's always scary. And so again, if you remember or figure out what your why is and stay aligned with your why, then you can try to ignore the noise around you. You will have moments you want to give up. I definitely have them. And then you'll have moments of, no, this is why I'm doing this. And that's what's important.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. Thanks for your words of wisdom. And today I was speaking with Stephanie Weiss. That is a wrap on today's conversation with the ever vivacious Stephanie Weiss, right here on Age of Reinvention. Stephanie, it was an absolute joy to explore your world, one where reinvention is not just possible, but passionately pursued in the golden years of midlife. To our dear listeners, thank you for joining us in this invigorating dialogue. We trust that Stephanie's thoughts, ideas, adventures, and transformative ethos have sparked your imagination and even ignited a desire to chase after a new horizon of your own. Before you step back into your routine, remember to hit the subscribe button on your favorite podcast app to stay updated with our ongoing dialogue with daring individuals who dare to make midlife their finest hour. And if today's episode stirred something within you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this inspiration with someone you know who might be standing at the crossroad of change, looking for that nudge to leap forward. Until the next time, I'm Emily Bron, bidding you goodbye and encouraging you to embrace the opportunities midlife lays at your feet. Here's to your age of reinvention. May it bring you freedom, lifestyle, and purpose like never before. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we will be joined by another inspiring individual who has redefined their midlife years. Cheers!